Denny Hamlin has had the speed, he's had the wins, he's had the experience, he's had the opportunities. But after all these years, there is still one thing missing from his NASCAR career, a championship. And that is exactly why the pressure around Denny Hamlin feels bigger right now than ever before. Because this is no longer just a conversation about talent. Nobody is questioning whether Denny Hamlin is talented enough. Nobody is questioning whether he can still race at an elite level. We already know he can. The real question now is much harder. Can he still finish the job before it's too late? That's the story that keeps following him. And honestly, it may be one of the biggest pressure stories in all of NASCAR right now. Because when you look at Denny Hamlin, you're looking at one of the most accomplished drivers of his generation. This is a driver who has built a career full of big moments, big wins, and years of proving he belongs at the top of the sport. But no matter what he does, that one missing piece keeps coming back into the conversation every single time. And that's what makes this so fascinating, because Hamlin is not some declining driver hanging on to the past. He is still a threat. He is still dangerous. He is still capable of beating anybody in the field on the right day. That's what makes the pressure even more intense. If the speed was gone, people would stop talking. If the results completely disappeared, the debate would be over. But that hasn't happened. Denny Hamlin still shows enough speed to make fans believe, and that belief keeps the pressure alive. Every time he has a strong run, the conversation starts all over again. Maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the season he finally breaks through. Maybe this is the run that changes everything. And then when it doesn't happen, the weight gets even heavier. That's the cycle. That's the tension. That's the reason this story never goes away. At this point, Hamlin is not fighting questions about talent. He's fighting a legacy question, and legacy questions hit different, because once a driver reaches this stage of their career, every season starts to carry more meaning. Every missed opportunity feels bigger. Every playoff run gets judged harder. Every big race starts to feel like part of a countdown, and that's where Hamlin is right now. Whether people want to admit it or not, he is racing with the pressure of time. Now, to be fair, NASCAR is brutal. This is not a sport where the best driver automatically wins the championship. That's just not how it works. You can have speed all year long and still lose everything because of one bad pit stop, one late caution, one bad setup call, one restart, one mistake, or one piece of bad luck at exactly the wrong time. That's how unforgiving this sport can be. And yes, some of that has absolutely been part of Denny Hamlin's story. But when the same question follows a driver for this long, it stops feeling like bad luck alone. It starts becoming part of the narrative. And once a narrative takes hold in sports, it becomes incredibly difficult to shake. That's what Hamlin is dealing with now. He wins and people say that's great, but what about the championship? He has a strong regular season and people say, can he do it in the playoffs? He has a bad finish and critics immediately say, here we go again. That is the reality. Nothing is viewed in isolation anymore. Everything gets tied back to the same question. Can Denny Hamlin finally finish the story? And the longer that question stays unanswered, the louder it gets. That's why this feels like such a big moment in his career, because the window doesn't stay open forever. The NASCAR field is deeper than ever. Young drivers are getting better. New contenders keep showing up. The competition keeps getting tougher. So even if Hamlin is still elite, and I believe he is, the challenge is not getting easier. It's getting harder. That's why people are watching him so closely right now. Not because they doubt his talent, but because they know opportunities like this don't last forever. And if he's going to change the story, it feels like it has to happen soon. That's what makes this pressure so real. This is not just outside noise. This is not just media talk. This is a real legacy battle. Because if Denny Hamlin wins a championship, the entire conversation changes overnight. Suddenly the criticism fades. Suddenly the resume files complets. Suddenly all the years of close calls and frustration become part of a redemption story instead of a permanent question mark. That's how powerful one title would be for him. But if it never happens, then that question will follow him forever. No matter how many wins he has, no matter how respected he is, no matter how much success he earned. That's the harsh reality of sports. Sometimes one missing achievement becomes the thing everyone remembers most. And right now, that's exactly what Hamlin is trying to outrun. So what happens next? That depends on one thing. Can Denny Hamlin take all of this pressure, the noise, the expectations, the legacy talk, the constant reminders of what's missing, and turn it into the one run that changes everything? Because if he can, then this story flips completely. Then he's no longer the elite driver who couldn't get the final piece. Then he becomes the veteran who silenced the doubt and finally finished the job. That would be massive. But if he falls short again, the pressure only grows. The debate gets louder, the doubts get stronger, and the clock feels even louder than before. That's why Denny Hamlin remains one of the most compelling stories in NASCAR right now. He still has the talent. He still has the speed. He still has the fire. But now he's racing against something bigger than the field. He's racing against time, and that may be the toughest battle of all. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Denny Hamlin will ever win a NASCAR championship? Is the pressure on him fair, or do you think the window is starting to close? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want daily NASCAR news, race reactions, playoff analysis, and the biggest stories in motorsports, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.